By the end of the video, you should be able to apply Boolean operators to construct effective search strings, use university library databases to access peer-reviewed articles and avoid paywalls, organize sources using a research matrix to systematically compare studies across dimensions, and use a research matrix to identify promising articles for deeper reading and inclusion in a literature review. In my last video, I showed you how to use GenAI to generate a list of keywords and phrases for your search. So now we're going to put those words to work. Let's start with two of our keywords, Think, Pair, Share, and ESL learners. Let's give this a try in the ERIC database. For those of you who do not know, ERIC, or the Educational Resources Information Center, is an authoritative database of indexed and full-text education literature and resources. If you type ESL learners into the database search bar, select peer review, and click on search, you'll get over 46,000 results. Obviously, that's an overwhelming number of potential sources, so you're going to need to narrow your search. And that's where Boolean operators help you balance precision and depth. The three main Boolean operators you'll use are and, or, and not. Using and narrows your search. For example, if you use Think, Pair, Share, and ESL learners, you will be telling the database that you only want to search for sources that include both of these concepts. Using the word or expands your search by including related terms. For example, you could use ESL learners, or English language learners, or multilingual learners. This is especially important because researchers often use different terminology for the same concept. You can combine these, Think, Pair, Share, and ESL learners or English language learners. The quotation marks indicate each word or phrase you are including in the search. The parentheses are used to group the alternative terms that will be used interchangeably in the search. Not is used much more sparingly than and or, but it can help exclude irrelevant results. For example, if you are focusing in on K-12 learners, then you would want to exclude higher education from your search. Now let's revisit our earlier search. Remember, when we used just ESL, we got over 45,000 results. We're going to use what we just learned about Boolean searches, and we're going to search for ESL and Think, Pair, Share. Wow, look at that. From 45,000 to just 21 results. That's a much more manageable number. Now we're going to use a Lit Review matrix to organize our search. I'm putting the name of the course here because if you're taking more than one course, you don't want to confuse your sources. I'm putting the research question here so that I always have that in mind when I'm looking at the articles that I want to include. I'm going to put ERIC database here so that I know where I'm getting these sources, and our keywords or phrases, because it's really frustrating if you forget which keywords and phrases you already used and you end up repeating the same keyword searches and coming up with the same articles later. It's a huge waste of time. Now, as you're going through this, at some point you may decide that you want to include some other databases, or you might decide that you're going to stay in the ERIC database, but you're going to modify your keywords and phrases in order to find more sources. So for right now, we're not doing that, but if you do any of those things, you're going to want to add it to your matrix. Now that we have our matrix all set up, we're going to go back to our ERIC database. All right, remember we have 21 sources here, but not all of those are going to be of equal value in relation to our lit review. So we're going to have to go through them one by one to see which ones we're going to include and which ones we're going to exclude. As you skim research results, don't download everything. Instead, evaluate potential by reading the abstract and asking yourself some questions. For example, does the context match my teaching or research setting? Are the participants similar to my learner population? Is the instructional focus aligned with my topic? Does the study help answer how or why, not just whether something works? Articles that clearly describe the method, context, and outcomes are usually stronger candidates because they can provide you with models for your own research design. Do a quick review of the articles we have here to see if there's anything that might be useful. Remember, our search terms were ESL and Think, Pair, Share, and we limited this to peer-reviewed. So we're going to go through, and here we can see that this article is about writing, so probably not interested in that one. This one is in a Pakistani university, and it's talking about engagement in general, but if I look down here, I see cooperative learning, which might overlap. So this is one we might want to look at. I'm going to go ahead and put save here and come back and take a closer look at it. If I'm interested in university level students, but if I'm interested in K-12 students, probably I'm just going to keep moving right on by. Here I have enhancing reading comprehension and motivation. It's in Indonesia. So again, I need to think, am I interested in ESL or EFL context? Do I want overseas research, or do I need to stick to research within the United States? What is the level of these students? Are these university students? Are these elementary school students? And here I can see it's secondary EFL. So depending on what my focus is, that might be helpful. But again, it's reading comprehension, and that's not what we seem to be interested in for this study. So we're going to keep on moving. Discovery learning strategies, integrating Think, Pair, Share, and teachers' corrective feedback to enhance student writing again. So let's just keep moving right along. Effect of student teams' achievement divisions and Think, Pair, Share on students' interest in reading comprehension. No. Let's keep moving. Writing, nope. Speaking ability, yay. So let's take a look at this. It's in the Journal of Education and Practice, which I'm not familiar with, so I'm going to need to check out that journal and make sure that's a strong, reputable journal. I'm going to show you how to do that in another video. But for now, we have Think, Pair, Share. We have speaking ability. It's talking about improving the speaking ability. Not exactly what we're looking at, but it may have some relevance. Again, let's see, where are we? What is Steyn-Ternate? I don't know what that is, but it might be worth coming back and taking a look at it. So I'm just going to mark it there. So again, I'm not going too deep. I'm just going through kind of quickly and looking and seeing if I can rule out some of these and rule in some of these so that I'm not wasting a lot of my time, because nobody's got a lot of time. So evidence-based teaching interventions for emergent multilingual students in high school science classrooms, a literature review. Now, literature reviews are interesting because they're going to be talking about a lot of different research. So I think I want to come back and take a look at this one in a little bit more detail later. And there's no like definitive rules on how to do this. You're just going to have to look at it, and based on what you understand of your topic, you're going to be making these kinds of quick judgments. Then once you've decided which ones you want, you can go here and I can click this, and then I can come up here and I can get a citation for that particular article. I can copy it and go back to my rubric, my matrix, I'm sorry. Go back to my matrix and I can put it in there, go to format, wrapping, so that it stays in the box. Voila! With that, we've covered the most important points of doing a search for literature. But I do have a couple of last minute things that I want to make sure I stress. It's very important that you search through the university library and not rely on Google Scholar. When you access databases like Google Scholar, many of the articles that are not behind paywalls are in lower quality journals. When you access databases like ERIC or Linguistics and Language Behavior Abstracts or Education Source through your library, you automatically bypass many of the paywalls because the university has paid for subscriptions with those journals. You get peer-reviewed articles, you get full text articles, you can use advanced filters that Google doesn't necessarily offer. And in the case that you do hit a paywall using a university database, sometimes if you check for PDF full text, you can find a link. If you click the Find It at Your University button, that might get you access to it. And if you still can't access it doing those things, you have the option of requesting the article through interlibrary loan. So again, that's one of the ways to get around the paywalls with the high quality journals that we want to be focusing on for our class. All right, so that's it for this video. I hope it helped, and I will be putting together a couple more videos to help you through this process. Catch you next time.